This is my fifth video now dealing with the chronological events that took place between 1844 and 1851 that have been concealed or in some way twisted to mean something other than what it actually meant between 1844 and 1851. I've already talked about the shut door policy and how that came about, the 7-year tarrying time and so forth. And now I'm getting ready to get into what is probably the premier doctrine of the Seventh-day Adventist organization, investigative judgment. But before I do that, I want to back up and give you some history on this that hopefully will help you to understand why they fight to protect this invalid doctrine so much. Back in the 1880s, there was this man by the name of Dudley Kenwright. He was a very respected member of the Seventh-day Adventist. He was, in fact, at one time, he even served as a member of the General Conference. He even had ministerial credentials as well. But he had some problems with the interpretation of Daniel 8:14 and the sanctuary doctrine, which led to investigative judgment. And he tried to present to his fellow members the many errors that he saw with the SDA doctrines, but they simply refused to listen to him. Kenwright's focus was on the areas mainly talking about the sanctuary doctrine and the investigative judgment. They withdrew fellowship from him for bringing it up. Another man by the name of Ballinger, A.L. Ballinger, somewhere around 1905, had serious questions concerning the sanctuary doctrine himself in investigative judgment. And he tried to present his case. All he was asked was that someone show him wrong. In other words, he presented his case to him, said, here's why I think you're wrong. Please, to his fellow people, show me where I'm wrong in this. No one spoke up to prove him wrong. The church withdrew his ministerial credentials for even speaking about it. Another man by the name of Lewis Conrad was a faithful member to the Seventh-day Adventists for over 50 years. For about 25 or 30 years or so, he had serious questions about the traditional interpretation of Daniel 8:14 that led to the sanctuary doctrine and investigative judgment. So he shared his concerns with other members of the Seventh-day Adventist and the leaders of the Seventh-day Adventist. They quickly formed a committee. Conrad had to forfeit his credentials. One of the biggest debacles, I guess, came in 1980 at Glacier View, Colorado, when the Sanctuary Doctrine Committee met again. Only this time it was Des Ford, another highly respected member of the Seventh-day Adventist, a teacher, a scholar, a man who knew what he was talking about. He had a manuscript drawn up of some 990 pages to present to the committee at the Sanctuary Review Doctrine in Glacier View, Colorado, showing them the errors they had made in interpreting Daniel 8:14, that the 2300 years was wrong, and therefore investigative judgment was wrong, and their sanctuary doctrine was wrong as well. And listen, 990 pages now. In fact, this was his doctrinal dissertation, where he had worked for years on this to show them the errors of their interpretation, especially trying to refer back to the writings of Ellen White to interpret this. Well, he went there apparently thinking that he was going to be heard, but the only thing he heard was, your credentials are withdrawn too. And he had to leave the Seventh-day Adventist. But apparently many Seventh-day Adventist members had had enough of this deceptions and lying to, for over 100 ministers left following this firing of Des Ford. Several million members withdrew from the Seventh-day Adventist organization because of their treatment of Des Ford and not even hearing the man out. Today, I read a report in the last several days that where today there are more ex-SDA members in America than there are members. And a lot of it had to do with the firing of Des Ford in 1980, when they would not even hear the man out, because he's spoken out against the wrong interpretation of the scripture by Ellen White on Daniel 8:14, the 2300 days that really weren't days at all. the sanctuary doctrine, investigative judgment. And this is an ongoing history of the deceptions by the General Conference of the Seventh-day Adventist and Ellen White estates. If you speak out against Ellen White and to say that she was wrong, and even show them where you were wrong, your credentials are quickly snatched away and you're excommunicated from the church for dare even question it. You can question the fact that they call Jesus an angel. You can question the fact is that no, he didn't. They wouldn't even let him into heaven in 1844. In fact, you can question anything. Just don't question the writings of Ellen White, or you will be excommunicated from the church. Now, when I get into this doctrine of investigative judgment in my next video, you'll have some background of the people who have tried to show them how wrong this really is and what it has cost those people to dare to speak the truth. Until next time, this is Ben Golly saying, God bless.